Well, hey, hello there, friends. Privyet, Casey Hall. What's up? I am the professor. I'm a very cold professor, very chilly. It's 44 degrees here in Phoenix. Thus the hat and the hoodie. I'm wearing Deep Space 5. What? And I'm going to do a video here on the electoral Trumpset featuring Shashi Tharoor, who's the former UN Undersecretary General, who did the one video about appropriations that Great Britain to possibly do appropriations for India for their savagely raping the land. So let's go ahead and take a look at what this is going to be on RTV, which I think is Russian. But the host speaks pretty good English. Let's take a look at this. I like RTV. They have some good videos. I really do. I enjoy it. Easy, dude. Nice. Okay, anyways. A double check.
Hello and welcome to Worlds Apart. The Trump victory has appended many political and sociological wisdoms that few until recently dared to question, let alone challenge. And while America is still overcome by an emotional response, many around the world are taking a critical look at the latest US election to see if their own approach to electoral politics needs to be revisited. Well, to discuss some of that, I'm now joined by Shashi Tharoor, an Indian politician and former UN Undersecretary General.
He's English?
Mr. Tharoor, it's so good to have you on the show. Thank you for being here.
Great to be with you, Oksana. Thank you.
Now, there are so many things that you can draw from Trump's victory, which I know came as a big surprise to you. You are on record predicting that Ms. Clinton would win, just as, I guess, the majority of people I interview on this show. I wonder if that stunning victory produced any bit of self-doubt on your part in how well you understand the world and the United States, for that matter.
Well, you know, I was also in London the day of the Brexit vote, and I didn't anticipate that either. So I'm beginning to realize that a lot of experience in world affairs does not necessarily amount to a great capacity for prediction in today's climate. Having seen the result that Mr. Trump was able to pull off, as you know, there is one element that all of us can shield ourselves behind, which is that Mrs. Clinton still got about 2 million votes more than he did. The Electoral College worked its magic to help him. But having said that, that's not an excuse. We're supposed to be aware of that as we predict the outcome. And I would say that what is striking is how widespread Mr. Trump's support was and how many states he was able to carry that Mr. Obama had carried in the last couple of elections. And it would seem, if you take Trump, if you take Brexit, it does seem there is a trend here that Mr. Trump is merely the latest epitome of, and not so much of an outlier after all.
Dr. Tharoor, you wrote a few days ago that one major casualty of Donald Trump's victory is America's soft power around the world, that instead of coming across as this land of inspiration and possibilities, it now presents itself to the world as a land of misogyny and discrimination. And I think that is very much in line with this righteous liberal narrative which Ms. Clinton represented, that sees everything in stark terms of good versus evil. Wasn't it actually that narrative that indeed relies heavily on the tools of soft power that was defeated in this election?
Yeah, well, I think that's absolutely right. In fact, if you look at the aftermath of the election, it's been less than a week now since they counted the votes. You're looking at a country where a number of American citizens who are not white are being told in public places, time to go home now, and other such comments, where many black Americans and brown Americans have felt the disquiet that have been unleashed because of the Trump victory.
You guys smell that?
It's not necessarily that the people at the top wish to see a
somebody
divided
who wants
nation.
to take freedom
I'm sure
away.
they don't. It is much more that a lot of
What's this fool
undercurrents
doing? Come on,
bubbling
man. I
below
liked you in
the
the one
surface
video. What are you
of
doing
an
to me,
ostensibly
Sashi?
tolerant,
Sashi,
multi-ethnic,
as former
multiracial,
UN
and
Undersecretary
pluralistic
General,
country
I expected a little
have
bit more
suddenly
from you.
emerged, and they're much more xenophobic.
Well, Dr.
Boora!
Tharoor, let's be
Boora!
balanced here because some
Boora!
Clinton supporters are
Boora!
now acting in the way they predicted the Trump electorate would react to his laws by burning American flags, vandalizing cars, looting stores. Is that really about
I like
Trump
her
or
Russian
Clinton as
accent.
much as the sort of
Famous,
this
very
general
cool.
political culture, which happens to be highly
I like the
polarized
Russian
at the
accent.
moment?
Sounds very nemesis.
Well, look, I think this election was already so polarizing in American society
That is
that
true.
whoever had won, there would have been an initial period of outright rejection of the results by the other side. What you're seeing now with the protests that you describe would certainly have been mirrored
Look at
by
his
the other
books. He's got a lot
side
of
if
books
Mrs.
back there.
Clinton had won. So I don't really think that this
I
in
like to try to read the
itself is a
books.
surprise. But what is more worrying, of course, is the perception on the part of the, if you like, the Clinton supporters, the Democrats and others, particularly people from the non-white male background
Orange
that
kid.
seems predominantly
Probably
in
coming from
Mr.
the
Trump's
orange
corner.
walls.
I'm sorry, the white male background is in Mr. Trump's corner, so the non-whites feel a vulnerability and an insecurity and a sense of being unwelcome
My chair's like
that they
his.
had not
Yeah,
felt
look at
before.
that.
In fact, the victory of
My
Obama had made
undersecretary
them
chair.
feel
Look at that.
particularly
See that? I
secure
got a
and
fancy chair
accepted.
too.
But Dr. Tharoor, what you're talking about here are perceptions and fears, and there have already been some indications that some of those fears may be intentionally whipped up as a reaction to Trump's election. For example, some of the accounts of Muslim women being abused have been proven fake already. So I'm not saying this is not a real problem. In fact, racism and xenophobia do exist in the United States, and many believe that they do
no, we
need to
just
be
want you to be
addressed
legal.
in a
Xenophobia?
straightforward
No, we
way,
just want you
rather
to be
than being,
legal.
hidden behind
What other
the
nation just lets
slogans
people
of
cross
political
over? What other nation does that?
correctness. Wouldn't the United States actually benefit from addressing this problem head on? If there is some of such incidents, there is also a counter reaction from the society, a society developing antibodies against it.
That's not really a
Isn't that
question.
actually a good thing?
She's not really asking a question.
Well, yes, to some perhaps, but certainly not to the world majority. Because, if you look at the classic roots of American soft power, there were these things, these, if you like, liberal, multi-ethnic, tolerant values, the sense of America as a land of infinite possibilities that made it America so attractive. The joke was that even those protesting American foreign policies outside American embassies in the world were also shouting, "Yankee, go home, but take me with you." There was so much of a sense of attractiveness of the American lifestyle. Now suddenly, after this, and after the stories that are coming out, even if one or two of those stories are not true, many of the stories coming
that
out
guy.
are worryingly
Not
real
my voice,
and
huh?
alarming. I don't think the same sense of America being this luminous, shining magnet that everyone is attracted to can still be said to hold true.
Now, one thing that struck me in particular about this whole campaign was the use of shaming and vilification as a political tool, particularly, I would argue, by the Clinton campaign, describing Trump supporters as deplorables. And a number of experts are now suggesting that this may have played a role in skewing the polls in both the U.S. election and
She's got a
previously
great
in
accent.
the
Her
Brexit
accent's
vote.
awesome.
People making up their mind, but because their political choice is presented as unacceptable, they wouldn't tell that choice to the pollsters. If that's the case, wouldn't that be a worrying signal, especially for democracy?
Yes, it is, but don't forget, first of all, that there were definitely mistakes made on both sides.
Oh, there's
I
still
think if we
18
start
minutes left of this, man.
cataloging
We gotta
Mr.
cut
Trump's
this thing
mistakes,
down, dude.
that's not a
Whoa.
very pretty
That's just
picture
way
either.
too long, man.
And certainly
26 minutes. Get out of here. Go watch a movie, man. That was crazy. Well, what is my analysis of what we just watched here? Okay. Number one, I had no idea that dude was that liberal. Okay, that's number one. Shouldn't surprise me. UK liberalism, socialism, that shouldn't surprise me. Not saying that there's anything wrong with it. Look at this orange tint on my nose. This is ridiculous. Okay, that's number one. Number two, what else did we learn about in this video? We learned that these yellow walls will reflect the tint on your face, so it looks like that you're jaundiced or something, like I have hepatitis, which I don't. We learned number three, Russian accents are very, very cool. That you could listen to Russian accent all day long. Like, if the warrior queen had a Russian accent, I would make her mad just so she could yell at me all day long in the Russian accent. And then I would say, like, are you going to break me? Are you going to break me? And then see what happens. Number four, we learned, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I have no idea what I'm doing, dude. I'm like out of talking points. I was just struck completely. Like, this video was like 26 minutes, man. 26 minutes. And this is what happens, right? People will say, hey, professor, watch this video and react to it. And I do it. And it's like, you didn't finish the video. How come you didn't finish the video? I'm unsubscribe you. And it's like, you know, the average YouTuber viewer watches for 15 seconds. 15 seconds! We're fortunate. You guys watch for 2 minutes and 57 seconds, right? That's unheard of. And then you send me a 26-minute video? What are the colors changing? It's got to be shadows, huh? Casting shadow. I'm throwing shade. Look, I'm literally throwing shade. Whoo! Whoo! Hey, by the way, did you guys hear? I won against India Star, or Star India. I'm 5-0, yo. 5-0, yo. 5-0! Just whooping them, dude. We just throwing elbows. Hoppa! Hoppa! Oh, anyways. Yeah, anyways. You see the light back there? That's heaven. Look at that. I live right outside of heaven. It's, come to the light! Come to... It's poltergeist. Never mind. Anyways, I'm going to go before I make a complete fool out of myself. And I'll talk to you guys later. Peace and much love.